Liverpool, Aston Villa, PSG, Aston Villa, Champions League quarter-final. The media would have you think that football was played on paper and comfortably Liverpool were going to beat Aston Villa in the quarter-finals. Unfortunately, Liverpool didn't make it to the quarter-finals, and it's PSG who Aston Villa are going to be playing. Another team that has been written off that they wouldn't be able to make the quarter-finals in itself. PSG have evolved from the 8-3 formation. The three Galactico superstars up top in Mbappe, Messi and Neymar. Luis Enrique has revitalised PSG into a tactically wonderful team who are very, very dangerous. They blitzed Liverpool, they tactically outfought Liverpool, and Luis Enrique did a job on Arne Slot. PSG's campaign in the Champions League has been somewhat indifferent, losing to Arsenal, losing to Atletico Madrid, losing to Bayern Munich, drawing with PSV, and finally on game week 7 beating Manchester City narrowly got them into the playoff stage. They were able to go through that, and they were also able to beat Liverpool in the round of 16 as well. Luis Enrique's PSG team are very, very good and very, very dangerous. You could talk about Kvaratskhelia, you can talk about Dembele, we can talk about Barcola, but the overriding system within PSG, their midfield three of Neves, of Ruiz and Vitinha are the areas that I worry about in this game. Their system is so fluid, it is unbelievable to watch. There are midfield rotations, there's fullbacks bombing on and going forward, there are attackers inverting, Dembele playing as a false 9. They are a very, very good team and a different team to the one that we saw a couple of years ago where we'd got superstars not tracking back, not being a team, not being team players. And PSG were able to do a massive job on Liverpool. We're going to talk about the PSG style and system and how they play. We're also going to unlock and take a look at how they were able to beat Liverpool comfortably. And then we'll also take a look at how Aston Villa will be able to play against PSG and how Aston Villa will be able to beat PSG. The PSG system on paper, in essence, is a 4-3-3. But it's not a 4-3-3 how we would normally look at a 4-3-3. The midfield three triangle of Ruiz, Vitinha and Neves interchanges, moves around, manipulates around, but Vitinha is the key player for PSG. He's the player, the hub, the anchor, the pivot, who's moving into a back three, making up a back three, but he's also anchoring and being that leverage to move left, to be able to move right, for Ruiz and Neves to do their work as well. Mendes will go further forward and offer a central space for Kvaratskhelia to move and invert as well. Opposite side, Hakimi will go forward and make up that same space that Mendes will make, and Barcola can invert or stay wide as well. Vitinha will make a back three with Pacho and Beraldo. Marquinhos suspended for the first game against Aston Villa, and Dembele will rotate and move around. It's a system that's fluid, that's got movement, that can adapt, that can interchange, and this is the big area of the PSG team that was able to beat Liverpool, and I felt like destroy Liverpool. Liverpool they had no answers. They had no idea, and one of the big things that baffled me with the game against Liverpool was that from the first game to the second game, there was no adaptation from Arne Slot, and this was something that I picked up on the first game, and I thought he would be able to tactically change his idea and his plan, and to be able to find a way of stopping PSG from finding those pockets of space, and that midfield three core being able to move and manipulate around the Liverpool central two. Liverpool pressed in a 4-2-4. This 4-2-4 enabled PSG's three in the middle to manipulate and move around the Liverpool two. You can see this from the average positions from the first game. And what we can see from images of this game as well, the first leg in particular, is you can see that centrally you've got the Liverpool 2. Either side of that Liverpool 2, you've got space, and you can see this from the yellow circles. You can also see the triangle of the PSG midfield 2. That's Ruiz, Neves and Vitinha. And this 2 sometimes wouldn't be next to the Liverpool 2. They will spread out and move away from this. They will find space, but then it also enables the wide players, the left back, the right back, to get into those attacking areas, setting traps, dragging the Liverpool players to the midfield of PSG, but then opens up and allows space as well. What you'd got with these rotations was dragging players out of position. You can see here that Konate has been drawn to the ball, which enables a runner, you can see from the yellow arrow, to go in behind Konate. Note the space either side, again, of the Liverpool midfield too. You can see that Vitinha has then gone and made that back three as well. He's always offering the protection, wanting the ball, and always looking to find space. This PSG team look for space. It's like they're attracted to the space, and that's something that's so good about them as well. Again, we can see that when Liverpool defended narrowly with the width of the 18-yard box, you've got the ball out wide, either flank outside. You've got that triangle hub that will always be that triangle that's moving around, manipulating around. But Vitinha, again, is the one that's at the spearhead of that, who's looking to retrieve the ball, have the ball, pop it off, little incisive give and goes, little easy passes. But all those little passes, psychologically for the Liverpool players, they think they're comfortable, but then there'll be a little run from Neves peeling off elsewhere. There'll be a little run from Ruiz moving away, finding that space as well. We could see in the second leg that because of the integral areas that PSG were getting in, Liverpool players were drawn to the ball, which in turn enabled PSG to find more space. We can see this here. We've got 5 Liverpool players attracted to the ball, which then allows, you can see Vitinha finding that space, and then he's able to attack that space. Big open gaps, open spaces for PSG to attack as well. We can also see here how the system of PSG is able to work. We've got a circle on the far right side. That is a Hakimi going in and finding that central space. We've got the far left side, closest to us. We've got the left back going in and finding space as well. Vitinha making his little pocket in central midfield, then going to make up that back three as well. So this is all of the rotations that we've seen with this PSG team on how they're moving, how they're adapting, how they're finding space. And PSG are very, very good at finding that space. Stopping Vitinha is absolutely crucial for Aston Villa. He's the cog, he's the glue, he's everything to this PSG team. I cannot reiterate how important he is to this side. He's brilliant. I've shown you what he actually does, but we can also see from the 2 legs, home and away, the differences between what Vitinha can bring to the side, and he's just got that ability to be able to move around a football pitch and offer different things. He can sit in there, he can defend, but he can also attack and get into those really good attacking areas, find those nice little pockets and find that space. Now, from the first leg, he was a lot more attacking. We can see he had 132 touches, 12 were in the defensive third. We'd got 87 in the mid-third, and in the final third, he got 33. Now, if we go to Anfield, what we can see is that there's a little bit more of a solid base there. He's on that left-hand side, he's on the right-hand side of that bottom of the defensive base, but he can also drift and get into those attacking areas. And the numbers between the home and second leg are really important. He had 137 touches at Anfield. He'd got 39 in the defensive third, 80 in the mid-third, and 18 in the final third. Now, the mid-third is where he does a lot of operating. 87 first leg, 80 in the second leg. But compare that attacking third, so final third, 33 in the first leg, and 18 in the second leg, stark comparison to where he was operating, where he was playing. So, shutting down Vitinha is number one on my agenda to beating PSG. How do Aston Villa beat PSG? And it's within our own system, 4-4-2. I believe 4-4-2 is the perfect system to be able to beat this PSG side and their rotations and their movement and their quality, their ability to isolate players. And Aston Villa's 4-4-2 is going to be very, 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 very good in my opinion. Now, I've referred this numerous times about Villarreal going to Juventus and being able to sit in, dig in, defend, and be able to hit Juventus on the break and win that game away at Juventus. I think one of Unai Emery's biggest achievements is not the Europa Leagues. I think it's getting Villarreal to the semi-final of the Champions League. And for him to be able to do that as a team, it's not as easy as just rocking up and being able to attack, dominate, play well. In Europe, the Champions League especially, you have to suffer. You have to be able to tactically be able to defend well and follow the game plan. And Villa's 4-4-2, following Unai Emery's blueprint of Villarreal at Juventus, Villa against Bayern Munich, being able to defend even Villa at home against Juventus in this season's Champions League, tactically being switched on is going to be very, very important. Villa off the ball is going to be very, very important in this tie. 4-4-2 is the best formation in football. And I've got a quote from Arsene Wenger on why this is the case. And he tells us why that formation is so important. 4-4-2 formation is the formation who is the best suited dimension of the football pitch. Why, will you ask me? Why? 60% of your team, that means 2 central defenders, 2 central midfielders and 2 strikers, cover naturally 60% of the surface of the pitch. And 40%, that means 2 wide players on each side. 4 players cover 40% of the pitch. That means it is rationally, mathematically, the best suited system to cover in a rational way the surface of the pitch. Villa, 4-4-2, mid-block, sitting in, not allowing that space for PSG to manipulate the Villa double pivot is going to be something very, very key. We can talk about how Villa attack PSG in a future tactical episode, but Villa defensively going up against this PSG 4-3-3 hybrid system, 4-4-2 is the way to go. Now, on these episodes that I'm doing, I really want to find a nice balance between my thoughts and the experts' thoughts. So on the first episode that I did about Enzo Barrenechea, we had Antonio Mango, and his insight was absolutely phenomenal. Now we're going to see the insight from a familiar face in Earl on his thoughts on PSG, the attacking players, and who he thinks are their best players as well. So take it away, Earl. Who do you feel like is PSG's most important player?
Yeah, I'd say Vitinha is probably their most important player, and he's got a lot of hype around him at the minute. He's kind of their controller, midfield general, exactly what makes them tick. He's the player that'll have the most touches, most passes, and they'll look to get him on the ball whenever they can. Yeah, so we've mentioned Vitinha. You've then got Hakimi as well, who's heavily involved for them on the right. He's a right back, but at times he'll play like a right winger and fully offering them the width down the right hand side. And then you've got the front three of Ousmane Dembele, who's the top scorer this season, Bradley Barcola, and Kvicha Kvaratskhelia as well, who are all dynamic wingers, like to dribble, plenty of pace.
One man that will be going back to PSG, Asensio. What effect do you feel like he's going to have on the game?
Well, he'll be going back to Paris with a point to prove, won't he? On the game itself, and I think he brings that experience for Aston Villa in the dressing room. Going to an away tie in the latter stages of the Champions League, you kind of need that experience, and also that he'll have that intel as well on Paris Saint-Germain and how they play. So yeah, it'd be good to see Asensio back in Paris. Yeah, it's absolutely why we've brought in a player with the caliber of Marcus Rashford. Is these big games, big moments, and like you say, he's done it in Paris before, so hopefully he can do it again.
I love hearing Earl's insights. Very, very good. His data analysis is top quality, and you'll see all of his graphics along my content as well. So big up to Earl AVFCscout, up the Villa. We'll end the episode today on what I wanted to create with this episode was a little bit of a insight into PSG, how they play, tactically what are they good at, who's their most influential player. And it's a little bit early to be talking about this game, but I really want to build up to the PSG game. I really want to build the intensity. And what I'm going to do is on this episode, I've spoke about PSG. I've spoke about what they're good at. I am going to bring you an episode where I create a tactical master plan to beat PSG. And I'll show you how Villa attack PSG. And I'll show you how we can beat them. So I just want to say thanks to everybody that's been watching this channel, The Villains. It's brand new. It's evolving. My idea is evolving. The delivery is getting to the place that I want it to be. It's a different delivery to what I've done before. So I'm still learning the ropes on what works and what doesn't. But hopefully you are enjoying this. And it's going to grow. It's going to evolve. So all I ask is that you subscribe, smash the likes, and comment your thoughts in the comment section as well. Up the Villa, up the Villains.